Want to know why? Ask. My God, I'm kicking the tripod. Want to know why? Ask how. Howard the Humongous. Okay, I was going to do this without glasses, then I realized I have notes here and I've got to read them to you. Let's see if the glasses will work. We're going to have lots of reflections. The problem tonight is twofold. We think we are thinking. We think that we are independent thinkers. How has the new nuclear deal, announced on Tuesday by President Obama, affected our ability or indicated how much we actually independently think? It's indicated something very profound. The instant that Obama made his announcement about a nuclear deal, groups on the left jumped in to attack Israel, jumped in to support the deal, jumped in to say that if you didn't believe in this deal and you didn't support this deal, you wanted war with Iran. The message they were really getting across is thinking is not really about looking at facts and arriving at independent judgments. Thinking is about wearing the badge, wearing the flag of your subculture. And if you don't wear the flag of your subculture, if you don't repeat the ideas that your subculture says are obligatory, you're out. You are likely to be savaged. You are likely to be rejected at the next lunch, rejected at the next dinner, rejected at the next party. You're likely to lose your friends. You are not allowed to think about the Iranian nuclear deal. You are required to say what is consistent with the party line of your subculture. And the same applies on the right. If you say anything positive about Barack Obama at all, you are gone. You are out. You are cut from the group. You are a rhino, Republican in name only. So the lines of debate about the Iranian nuclear deal have very little to do with the deal. They have everything to do with group loyalty and group think. Be an obedient soldier. Repeat the so-called thoughts of your group. What are the realities when it comes to the deal that Obama has just cut with the Iranians? Well, here's a take you will get from the folks on the right, but I'm going to give you enough words, enough material from the deal itself that you can make your own judgment. On May 20th, U.S. Energy Secretary Ernest Moniz, it may have been April 20th, it's not in my notes here, it's in the notes I use to compile these things for you. But Moniz said, we expect to have anywhere, anytime access. That's where that phrase, anywhere, anytime access, came from. And on Tuesday and Wednesday, when the president was he gave a press conference, he gave a speech, he gave an very early morning speech presenting this nuclear deal. What did he say? He said, this is the most vigorous inspection and verification regime by far that has ever been negotiated. Now, a former Israeli ambassador to the United States, Michael Oren, pointed out something. Inspection regimes that we have negotiated have been miserable failures. He pointed to a deal very similar to this Iranian deal that we cut in 1994 under Bill Clinton, somebody I voted for, with the North Koreans. And Bill Clinton was sure that he had imposed the most strenuous nuclear inspection regime that had ever been accomplished in the history of humanity. It was going to stop Iran from developing nuclear, or it was going to stop North Korea from developing nuclear weapons, and that North Korea would go from being a rogue nation to a member of the civilized society of nations. Did any of that work out? Not a bit of it. North Korea has exploded 3 nuclear bombs so far. It is said that it has the material for between 6 and 10 nuclear bombs today. It is working on intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of hitting every city in the United States, and it has declared that it is designing its nuclear weapons for one enemy and one enemy only, the United States. its most primal enemy of all. So these things have not worked out well in the past. It's not wise to get overly optimistic about inspection regimes. And as for the anywhere, anytime access that Ernest Moniz was going for, you judge for yourself whether this is anywhere, anytime access. Here is what the agreement, the full text of the agreement, says about inspections. Especially, this is what it says about inspections of sites that we may not have anticipated. The deal only covers 3 sites. It covers Natanz, it covers Tehran, and it covers, wait, what's the other one here? Hang on a second. Bear with me. We'll look down in the notes. Iraq. Not only that, it says that we have now committed through this agreement to upgrading the Iraq facility to a highly modern research and development facility. We're going to do it by giving equipment and know-how to the Iranians, and actually, in all possibility, according to this deal, giving them funding to get to the cutting edge of nuclear science. But that's not the point. Where is the anywhere, anytime access that Ernest Moniz was going for in the deal? Here it is. Are you ready? If the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, has concerns regarding undeclared nuclear materials or activities, hidden nuclear activities, at locations that have not been declared, that's any location outside of the 3 that are covered in this deal, Natanz, Tehran, and Iraq, whose name I keep forgetting. Let's do that again. If the IAEA has concerns regarding undeclared nuclear materials or activities at locations that have not been declared, the IAEA will provide Iran the basis for such concerns and request clarification. We have to submit a request to Iran trying to explain what it is that we think we found and how it is that we think we found it, thus revealing the nature of all of our intelligence apparatus. The IAEA will provide Iran the basis for such concerns and request clarifications. We have to submit paperwork to Iran. If Iran's explanations do not resolve the IAEA's concerns, the agency may request access to such locations. Well, by now we've given them so much notice that anything that's secret can be moved out of sight, can be moved to another area. The IAEA will provide Iran the reasons for access in writing and will make available relevant information. Iran may propose to the IAEA an alternative means of resolving the IAEA's concerns. Does this sound like a real tangle of paperwork and negotiation? Does this sound like instant access to you? Back to the quotes. If the absence of undeclared nuclear materials and activities cannot be verified after the implementation of the alternative arrangements agreed by Iran and the IAEA, in other words, you don't get instant inspection rights if you suspect something is going on, you have to go through this paperwork charade. And if Iran sends you off on a bunch of wild goose chases and you don't think after 3 weeks they've gotten you anywhere, you can come back to Iran and guess what happens? If the absence of undeclared nuclear materials and activities cannot be verified after the implementation of the alternative arrangements agreed by Iran and the IAEA, or if the 2 sides are unable to reach satisfactory arrangements to verify the absence of undeclared nuclear materials within 14 days of the IAEA's original request, Iran, in consultation with the members of the Joint Commission, would resolve the IAEA's concern through necessary means agreed between Iran and the IAEA. The process of consultation, I mean, just in case you are worried that this process could go on for a year, that a surprise inspection could take forever and involve notifying Iran in every conceivable way, if you are concerned about delays of a massive spaghetti of paperwork, try this. This makes sure that things don't go on too long. The process of consultation with and any action by the members of the Joint Commission would not exceed 7 days, and Iran would implement the necessary means within 3 additional days. After how many months of bargaining and negotiation? Now, the president says about this the following. First, he says that this is the most vigorous inspection and verification regime by far that has ever been negotiated. I leave you to judge the truth of that for yourself. He says in his press conference, as for the fact that it may take 24 days to finally get access to the site, the nature of nuclear programs and facilities is such, this is not something you hide in a closet. This is not something you put on a dolly and kind of wheel off somewhere. And by the way, if we identify an undeclared site that we're suspicious about, we're going to be keeping our eyes on it. So we're going to be monitoring what the activity is. Monitoring with the American intelligence departments that are very good at monitoring your emails and mine, but are pathetic at monitoring other countries. How well did they do at monitoring before 9/11? How well did they do at monitoring when we believed that we had solid evidence for weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? We have proved to be utterly blind when it comes to seeing things in the Middle East. So we have two problems here. First, I leave it to you. Is the president being honest? Did we get what Ernest Moniz was going for? Do we have anytime, anywhere inspections? Or is the real nature of the deal being misrepresented to you and me? Does that matter for a president who promised people like me who voted for him twice, yes, I voted for him twice, transparency, a new kind of honesty in government? Does this in any way sully that honesty? And what about your independent thinking and mine? Are we really thinking this deal through on our own? Are we really being given the facts? Or are we simply repeating the slogan that our group requires in order to accept us at the next lunch, in order to accept us at the next party, and in order to maintain our friendships? Are we really thinking? And is this a Neville Chamberlain moment? Are we making a historical mistake like the one that caused Neville Chamberlain to come back to England after negotiating with Adolf Hitler and say he had achieved peace in our time? This is Howard the Humongous, speaking to you from the future. It's your job and my job to make, or want to know why, ask how. And now for an off button that is even harder to find than ever because of this light that's in the way. I think, but I'm not quite sure, I think I've found it.